Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. My name is Mas Zafir Zikri bin Abdul Aziz, student from University Tun Hussein on Malaysia, UTHM. For computer programming, I'm from section 7. Okay, for today I would like to explain briefly about my individual project, which is to create a program that can solve finite element analysis. Okay, what is computer programming? Computer programming is a process of execute original computer problem formulation into one executable computer program. Programming can have several languages such as Java, Python, C++, and C program. But for our course, we use C programs. So what is the purpose of computer programming? The purpose is to find a sequence of instruction that can solve a particular problem. And for my task, for my individual project, we were given a task to create a program that can solve finite element analysis problem. Okay, now I would like to move to the problem statement of my project. The problem that I faced throughout this project is firstly, it is not a simple task to solve a program that related to metric form, because in finite element analysis, in order to solve any question, we need to solve it in metric form. So in order to tackle this problem, I must learn and find a teacher that can teach me how to create a program by using metric form. So from this, I learned in order to create a metric form, I must use array. Okay, that is the first problem. The second problem is, after I finish all of my program, it cannot be run because there are some terms that I didn't declare. So to tackle the problem, I must declare all of my term, and I must to make sure that all of my term are not repeated. Okay. Lastly, the problem that I faced is to generate a formula. The formula that we use in finite element analysis is a complex and long formula. So in order to create a formula, I must use the formula that was stated in the program, which is the symbol of multiplication is not x, as we know, but we must use the star symbol. So this is one of the toughest problem that I faced in conducting this project. Okay, now I will move to the objective of my project. So what is the objective of my individual project? The objective of my individual project, I need to solve one example of finite element analysis, which I specified into chapter 3, the analysis of axial element by doing it in programming or in a program. The second objective of my individual project is that I want to prove that programming can be related to any kind of subject, including finite element analysis. Third, I want to improve my knowledge about C programming. And lastly, I want to enhance myself in using the programming software. Okay, now I will move to the most important part of my individual project, which is the methodology.
For the methodology, I will first explain about flowchart. So this is the flowchart of my project, and for this section, I will not talk much because I will explain more about my project at the program section. Now I will proceed to the pseudocode section. This is the pseudocode of my project. Basically, a pseudocode illustrates what were constructed in our flowchart. Therefore, in order to get this pseudocode, I must write it back in a sequence form where by referring to my flowchart, but some of other people prefer to create a pseudocode first, then a flowchart. It doesn't matter as long as we make these two steps first before we start to make coding, as it can make our life easier to write a coding in C program. Okay, now I will move to the program section. This is the program compiler, which it compile all of our coding or program into one functional system. A function is simply a collection of commands that do something. The main function is always called when the program first executes. From main, we can call other functions, whether they were being written by the user or use built-in language features. To access the standard function that come with our compiler, we first need to include a header with the hashtag include directive. What this does is effectively take everything from the header and paste it into our program. As you can see from my program, before I start to make a coding, firstly I declare all of my subject at the top of my program, where int is an integer and float is called for the decimal number. Next, I use for looping. For looping is a looping which I use where it will come back to the top and do calculation until my decision says no. So for this, I declare my I is equal to 0. This compiler will check whether my I is equal to 0 and less than 3 or not. If it is true, it will move to the next step, which it will calculate the stiffness of my element by using this formula. After it calculate all of my calculation, it will print the stiffness of the element 1. Next, it will go back to the top and plus I with 1. That's why I state I plus plus, which my I will become 1 instead of 0. So 1 is less than 3. Then it is true. When it is true, it will do calculation again and will find the stiffness of the element 2. And this process will continue until I is more than 3. The above section, or for the looping process, I use to calculate all of my stiffness of my element. Okay, now I will proceed to the while process. For the while process, I use it to find the deflection in my every segment. So this is the formula which I generate manually in order to find u. So from this formula, I can find the deflection in every segment at point 1 till point 4. Okay, after I have found all of my u values and all of my deflection values, now I can calculate the strain, stress and force of the element by using these particular formulas. Like usual, I use for and while looping, which it can recall back and recalculate everything until it came to false statement. And lastly, at the end of my program, it will state all of my answer and it will prove whether this program is a true program or not. After I had completed all of my coding, I compile it and try to run it to check whether my program is correct or not. Okay, this is the result or the outcome of my program. As you can see, it states all of the answer that I need to answer the problem. From this, we can see the stiffness of the element 1 is 684 meganewton per meter, which it is true if we want to be compared it to the manual method. As we can see, the stiffness of the element 2 is also true, which we get 1216 meganewton per meter. And lastly, for element 3, the stiffness is also true, which I get 475 meganewton per meter. For the deflection in every segment, from the result we can see only 0.4 has a deflection, even though it is small, which is 0.000002 meter. Lastly, this is the answer to find the stress, strain and force for every element. From the program, it found that for element 1, there's nothing changed. But for element 2, it states that the strain for element 2 is negative 0.000001 and the force is negative 392 Newton, and the stress that it feel is negative 61,403 Pascal. For element 3, the strain that it calculate is 0.000005 and the force is 1160 Newton, and for the stress it got 444,403 Pascal. So from this we can say that the program is true as we get the correct answer.
As conclusion, the objective of my individual project were achieved as I was able to solve my finite element analysis problem by using programming. This is proven that computer programming can solve any kind of problem, including finite element analysis problem. Furthermore, from this project, I have enhanced myself by using the programming software such as Dev C++ software and the ClickChart and CH software that I use to generate my flowchart. And lastly, the most important part is that I improve my knowledge about C program, which I learned how to use the while looping, the for looping, and the best part, I know how to use the array function, which it is useful and I can use it in the future. That's all from me. Thank you.